the best stories are the personal ones, and if you're a horror filmmaker, you know, the best way to tell a scary story is to find the thing that scares you the most and put it in the story. And the thing that scares me the most is the idea of a spider the size of a pit bull terrier. Yeah, I'm intensely arachnophobic, so anything with 8 legs freaks me out. Like I have a visceral reaction to spiders, so I just basically took my worst nightmare and just magnified it by a huge amount.
Both Kiah and I were very much on the same page in terms of getting the best person to do the effects in that space, and it just so happens because of my relationship with Richard and Weta, I was able to ring Richard up and said, I got 2 words to say to you, and they are giant spider.
I think these days a lot of people are doing things digitally, and Kiah wanted to do everything practically, and Richard just loved the opportunity.
Well, with any project that you do, it's all about the people that you're going to be working with. Obviously, the subject matter of this film is super exciting to us, but the fact that Kiah is such a extraordinary filmmaker, such a dynamic and unique individual, it was very obvious from the outset that his sharp wit and his clever mind was going to produce a fabulous script that would be, massively attractive to work on.
Like Richard Taylor, he's like pretty full-on hero of mine. This is the guy that pretty much hand-built Middle-earth, Lord of the Rings, Avatar, he's kind of done it all.
It's delightful for us because this director wanted to do Sting practically. He asked us to initially design Sting, and that went through an interesting evolution because is it just a spider, or has it got more alien attributes, or is it more monstrous? But Kiah had a very strong vision of that.
So one of the things I wanted to do was to take the design of Sting from a redback spider, which is like shiny black, with that cool red stripe down the back. It looks like a racing car or something. But also I was taking a lot of inspiration from the H.R. Giger designs for Alien, where it's this shiny, sort of almost metallic black look to it. So it looks like, the ultimate killing machine.
In its simplest form, Sting is ultimately just a puppet. It is puppeteered by 3 or 4 people that are operating the legs and its general movement off poles that will ultimately be painted out digitally. That is tricky enough. You think about the challenge of just rubbing your tummy and patting your head, and then do that with 3 to 4 people over 8 legs. You start to get the realities of the level of training and practice and rehearsals required by a team of people to be able to move a spider believably.
Just because I'm a big fan of puppetry, I grew up worshipping Jim Henson, and I just think that there's something so beautiful about the practical element of it. And she's an amazing puppet. She has this hydraulic system that creates that kind of elastic recoil nature of the spider jumping, which is super uncanny and weird.
But I'm finding it, for the most part, really fascinating. I'm finding it really fascinating watching the puppetry and how much work goes into this and how much movement. For months and months before, they've been working out how to articulate the knuckle on its left leg, let alone all 8 of them. And
it's interesting when you consider the actors that are actually going to play opposite something in a film. It's evident quite often to an audience when a director is chosen to go down an entirely digital pipeline that the actors don't perform against something that has presence, that isn't present in the environment. And for a movie like this, where the relationship between the victim and the predator is primary to give the essence that the director is trying to capture, that sense of presence becomes paramount.
And actors are reactive, so if you're coming at them with a tennis ball on a stick, they're going to have a lot of work to do, and there's probably going to be a lot of help you're going to have to give them. But if you're coming at them with, a 15-pound puppet that's shrieking at them and spitting everywhere, they just react to that.
And he really over-delivered. Richard and his team, Joel at Weta, they were fantastic.
They were very generous in supporting a production like ours and a filmmaker like Kiah, because they're also excited by fresh voices doing the things that they did 20 years ago, making movies out of sticky tape and string and scaring audiences. And, their input into the character of Sting was priceless. They designed Sting from the ground up, designed Sting to do everything that Kiah wanted Sting to do. We just firmly believed that this movie would be scarier and better and cooler if it had actual puppets and actual practical effects most of the way through.
People have a kind of, it's in their DNA, it's a natural primal fear of spiders. You know, that's how strong arachnophobia is. So if you want to make a film to scare the living daylights out of somebody, spiders seem to be a very good place to go.